Dude, Ashes of Creation launching tomorrow. Oh my god. What a time. Dude, I kind of want to play it just for meme value. Low key. On the lowest of keys. What does that game even look like? I seriously feel like Ashes is overrated. Yeah, no shit. I mean, I guess it's like properly rated if you think it's trash, right? Dude, if you're someone who actually thinks that game is great, that's tough, man. I thought people were hyped about it. It depends on the kind of person. There's definitely a little bit of hype about it from the like how do I phrase it? The like people with a really had a really bad breakup from WoW. Like they just decided to stop playing WoW, but like to them that's like a significant life moment and it's all WoW's fault and it's like really unhealthy. There's anyone like that, they're excited. Hey. It's me. I'm here. Is this Find Waldo? Yeah, that's a way to put it. People are going to play for 1 hour. I want to watch a review, bro. I want to watch a review. Like at the most recent beta. Ashes of Creation review. My honest review of Ashes of Creation after 1,000 hours. Oh my god. Oh, that's a lot of time. All right, who can I look at here? I see someone called the Lazy Peon.
State, but after hitting a big development milestone recently, it's now finally playable with 24/7 uptime minus weekly maintenance, whereas before that this wasn't the case. The previous Alpha 2 Phase 1 and 2 testing periods were only open during certain days, and on top of that there were also server wipes. With Ashes being a bit of a grindy MMO, many players, including myself, have been waiting for Phase 3.
So this is what the UI looks like. Okay, you're on a... looks like they're on a boat or something. GM Steven, this is the guy who makes the game, I think. Okay. Looks very, like, old school. I think that's the vibe they're going for. What are these, your buttons down here?
As the time when they jump in and commit more time to the game, especially considering Intrepid are going to try and avoid server wipes during Phase 3 if possible. This is why Ashes coverage on YouTube has been fairly quiet in 2025 compared to previous years. Only the most die-hard fans and testers have stuck around during these heavy development focused months. Despite the mixed sentiment and less hype-fueled coverage in media, Ashes of Creation has made massive progress in the 10 months since Alpha 2 began. We're talking multiple zones, new systems, new classes, dungeons, bosses, system reworks, and...
Dude, let me see some young combat. Ashes of Creation development, Ashes November, December, January. Okay. How much they're improving and why, I don't really... Give me... let me see some Ashes combat. Ashes of Creation combat. That's what an MMO is all about, right? Well, for some people, not really, right? I mean, I don't even really... Oh, here we go. Ashes of Creation PvP Mage vs. Rogue.
Arcane Eye was basically useless for months, but now we can finally use it to reveal stealthed enemies, as stealth is being more prevalent in the game. Arcane Eye was basically...
Okay, that's quick little thing. Fighter 1v2 PvP. I mean, you can't tell anything from this. I mean, it does just look like WoW, basically, right? Combat is the best part of Ashes of Creation. Well, that's crazy, because that's like up my alley. Was that slow-mo or just an FPS drop? I mean, it was a short, so it was probably some slow-mo jump cut stuff. Yo, is beta down, by the way? Could we be getting a new build today? Jack is playing, so not down. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing a little update. When did they do the update last week? Was it last Wednesday? Oh, it was right before testing, so it would have had to have been Wednesday, I think. Are they in the hotfix stage, or are they still putting out full ass, they take the realms down for a while and they do an actual whole build? I think it's a while until they actually start getting into hotfixes. Oh, dude, when does Throne come out? That's tomorrow, right? Brawlers Guild Season 5 now live. The Brawlers Guild makes its triumphant return in patch 11.2.7. Ooh. Where's Potty C? Oh, we recorded it 2 days ago. So, I guess I'm not quite sure. I think it usually takes about that amount of time to get edited and put out. It's a good episode. It's pretty funny. There's like, okay, so we have some guests on this week's episode to talk about a certain subject. And just past the like 1 hour mark in the podcast, they have like the dumbest argument for like 10 minutes. where Dorky and I literally just are sitting there laughing. And they're just fucking having like the dumbest semantics, basically a semantics argument for like 10 minutes. It was so good. It's like a 2 hour pod though, I'm pretty sure. Mythic Crown of Cosmos could feature a secret phase in Mythic difficulty. Wait, isn't it? What do you mean could? Isn't it like money back guaranteed? Bro, the Dungeon Journal... Yeah, wait a second. The journal literally says... Stage 2, wild cosmic energy spirals out of control, sealing all the fate atop the Void Spire. Okay. That's just... I mean, isn't that basically what Gallywix's journal said too? I mean, could is still technically true here, just not a particularly relevant truth. I mean, it 100% does have a mythic phase. This basically says there is a mythic phase. That's what this says. That's the translation, by the way. Who wrote this? Come on. I guess maybe they don't want to get called up. Let's see. Well, very well be possible that the Dungeon Journal isn't fully updated. This is quite reminiscent of what we saw in Mythic Gallywix. It's 100% on purpose. Things that don't have a completed Mythic Journal don't, they don't just say, like, unfinished phase in the thing. They have, like, all the heroic mechanics. They just don't have any Mythic things added. Midnight Mythic Plus Season 1 development notes large changes to returning dungeons. Dude, I actually kind of want to do some beta dungeons. But the only problem is I don't want my UI to be terrible, but I think that's just like part of the game now. Like I could spend like 2 hours probably just installing some shit and making my UI not look and feel like shit. But I kind of don't want to. You know? The reason why is I feel like I could just have this, like someone will just have this ready to go in like a while. Download Nef UI, it's easy. All right, let's see what Nef UI looks like. Nef UI Midnight. The best UI add-on for Midnight, Nef UI, from a YouTube channel called Rugs.
Hey guys, huge news.
I mean, bro, that's literally, this is just my UI on live, right? It's just the same UI, except shitty DPS meters, right? What is it? You're torn between not wanting to do that and not wanting to wait for the X pack to get used to it. I mean, we're in truly a like pivotal moment in WoW's history for a lot of reasons, but one thing that's really fascinating right now is that add-ons are getting better by the day. Like how good add-ons are for Midnight today versus like a month from now is going to be fucking crazy. Like a month from right now and a month ago, it was terrible compared to right now. And a month from now, it's going to be like it's ramping insane. The cam already fucked up? Okay, cool. I'll fix it. All right, fixing camera. Nice thumbnail. Chat unaware that everyone made AI coded Garbo, AI slop for real. Dev can't fix his own add-on, it's perma broken. Okay. There's a lot of talking points here. This sounds like some drama that I may have missed or something. Okay, so I've never heard of Nef UI before, but it basically just looks like OG WoW UI, which is great. But what's the deal? They use AI in it. Personally, whenever I hear AI slop, I'm like, oh, this is like trash. It's just really poorly made. Personally, I know some people don't feel like this. If something's made with AI in its development process or entirely, but it's a great, awesome product or thing, I don't give a fuck. Right? That's all. Like, usually when someone says AI, they're like talking about something that's like made cheaply with lower quality, right? But like if someone's like AI coding a WoW add-on, but it owns, I mean, it sounds good to me, right? Just gotta work, really. The camera already fucked up again? Dude, I'm gonna freak out. This is so fucking annoying. Alright. We're trying to fucking... We're trying a new USB socket. Maybe that'll work. Oh, now it's not working at all. Cool. All right. Hopefully it's working now. I plugged some things into new sockets. I'm just assuming maybe like it's the USB power socket that I was specifically using that's like cooked, but all right, so for the first time since my camera's been freezing a lot. Okay, what the fuck was I talking about? All right, AI generated stuff. I don't care if it's cool or if it's good or works. Oh, here's an... Hey, Max, I want you to use this UI add-on. It's great. Okay, other chatter goes, it was made with AI. All right, that matters 0% to me if it works and is good. But for some people, they're very offended by it. I don't really understand that. But... And that's from someone... I am not, like, pro-AI. I'm actually one of the biggest AI noobs you'd ever know. I to this day have never used AI on purpose. I don't have Chat GPT or whatever other apps you can use to consult AI, I guess, or talk to one or ask them things. I've never done that one time. I use Google, right? And Google sometimes just like asks AI for you or whatever, but that's not on purpose. That's just trying to use Google. So I don't use that shit at all, but I don't have an aversion to it. I just don't really use it. Dude, have y'all seen that let me look at this UI a little bit.
I'm sure that most of you are very concerned about Midnight coming out. And
Okay, but why are people mad about NephUI specifically? Like, okay, I've never heard of NephUI before, but it's apparently being made for Midnight, and some people are using it and recommending it. Why are people mad about it, though? Like, what's controversial? Because it's vibe coded. Okay, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? It means the use of AI. So nothing. Okay, so vibe coded doesn't matter. Unless you're saying it's bad. Like then I can understand that. Saying an add-on is bad is really easy to understand. He shit talked LVUI. He said mean things about LVUI. He called LVUI malware. Bro, that's like the oldest fucking LVUI chirp of all time. There's ain't no way someone called LVUI malware and people are mad. I have heard that said hundreds of times by random people. It's not bad because it's AI, but because he used AI and it isn't well done. Okay. Yeah, so it's just bad. So you guys are not recommending NephUI. Wait, does LVUI have like is LVUI remaking their shit? And is it like currently playable? Yeah, they're back on that shit. W, dude. Trying to get that straight malware, you feel me? I mean, realistically, what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for Kevin to make Atrocity UI again. And I don't want to think about anything. I just want to download it and it works. And that's it. What is it? There's a lot of understandable fears of code, but when the author doesn't fully understand what's going on, not saying that's the case here, but that's why people don't like vibe coding. Yeah, I'm just saying it's not that deep though. Like basically you guys are just saying the add-on is bad or inconsistent. Like inconsistent meaning they don't know how to fix it so it breaks all the time. That's just a bad add-on. Right? Like I feel like the focus on AI is irrelevant. Like whether he's making it or someone else is making it, if it breaks and he can't fix it, then he's not very good and the add-on probably isn't good either. I don't understand why there's like a lot of like stuff in the middle. I feel like it's just pretty black and white. Man, WoW drama must be pretty bleak recently if we're going after add-on devs, because like who fucking cares? Oh, wait, that guy shit talked another add-on. Fuck him. Bro, there's straight nothing happening, you know what I mean? All good though. I mean, yeah, this looks pretty good.
Are going to be absolutely bricked. Guess what you're looking at right here is Midnight Beta, and we have Spaceship UI just like God intended. If you are a player like me, and you like your nice LVY setup with a bunch of weak auras, you can have this HUD and this type of setup right now in the Midnight Beta, and we should expect something like this to be able to go live in this state at minimum. That's only going to get better. What you're seeing right now is mostly what's called Neph UI, and I'm going to tell you all about it today. So guys, first things first, Neph UI is going to be a super lightweight add-on. You won't need to download a whole bunch of stuff for it. I'm going to walk you through all these things that it's actually doing for us, and think of it more like LVY. So essentially what our unit frames look like right now.
Nah, I already I can't do this. All right, cool though. Oh, dude, this Shindig guy messaged me. He messaged me like a week ago or something like that. He said, "Yo, Max, what do I got to do to join Liquid?" This dude's on the grind.
It's been a few weeks now. Let's talk about Rogue on the beta. So,
This guy.
as is the case with
Well, you can't
basically
see
every
him.
spec in the game, spec
Liquid Shindig win. Bro, he's on that journey. He's definitely on that like JPC. I don't know he happens to play Rogue, so it seems like I'm just saying this because he's a Rogue, but like JPC just like went hard into content creation, loved and got obsessed with the game and got super good at it. And like maybe this guy's in the middle of that journey to like get into a top guild. I mean, I gave him the only advice I could possibly give someone. And this is just the truth. This is it. This is, if you guys want to learn how to join Liquid, this is it. Yo, Max, what do I got to do to join Liquid? And I said, be the best rogue in the world. Realistically, keep jumping guilds and be their best player and repeat that. That's, I don't know any other realistic way to advise anyone on how to like join Liquid. It's just that's the process that everyone goes through, at least recently.
are becoming much simpler, and Rogue is no.
And then he hit me with a herd, so that's he's on his fucking thing. Which I understand people could get mad at me saying that, but that's also just fucking true. Like, if your goal is I want to do this at the highest level possible, I want to play in the best guild that I can. If I'm telling you who we're recruiting from all the other best guilds in the world, and we're trying to recruit their best player when there's need for their class and stuff. A lot of it's RNG too, right? Like, let's say you actually go hard into Rogue, which is, I think the best way to get into a guild like this is not actually to be a multi-classer. It is most likely trying to be as good as you possibly can be at one specific thing. And then once you get into the guild, you can like broaden your horizons a little bit. But like usually trying to multi-class too heavily results in you not actually getting quite good enough at any specific thing to do this. Right? So like, let's just say he goes super hard at one thing at Rogue, and then he gets into like a top 10 world guild and is doing really well. But let's just say for like 2 or 3 years, Echo and us have like 2 to 3 Rogue players, and they're so good and they never quit or lose passion. Then you just kind of got unlucky. Because like realistically over the course of a few years, there's always like openings for specific classes because people always will like lose passion or have to quit for some reason, or they get replaced, right? That can happen too. But like what happens if you just like, you know, it's complete RNG. Like basically two different players could exist. They're both the exact same player. One of them mains a hunter and one of them mains a rogue. and they're in the exact same guilds at the time. They're the same skill of player. They're the same recruitability, but we need a hunter and we don't need a rogue. It could just be that simple, right? Pure RNG. Well, not pure RNG. You have to put yourself in the position to have RNG benefit you, you know. Most mythic guilds I know, people will use said guild as a stepping stone. I mean, not everyone's motivation is to play at the very highest level, right? Like for some people, they really want to play WoW. They like to clear the raids when they come out. So they find a guild that they can do that in, that they enjoy. They either are like, they don't need to be like your best friends in the world, but they need to be people that you can like have a conversation with and don't mind spending a lot of time with, right? Or else what are you doing? And then they usually stay there, especially if the nights of the week work out. Usually when you're talking about degenerates, like people who can play WoW all day, every day, because, I mean, being honest with you, those are the people that are realistically going to be able to actually get good enough to do this anyway, right? Like if you're already thinking, well, I really only want to raid on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. I want to raid 3 days a week because I have a kid and a job. Like, you're never going to be able to do this anyway. And you probably already know that, right? Because you're like, you don't have enough time to even do this, even if you were good enough to do it, right? But then there's like the getting good enough to do it is probably going to happen to the person that's playing 7 days a week, all day, every day, right? So I don't think there's a lot of people that are actually like are unemployed and are just like playing all day, every day anyway. But those people are likely to jump guilds, yeah, because they can keep playing more. Are there any classes Liquid's in need of for midnight? No, we're good right now. This farm period, we recruited Yargi, Walllife, and someone else. Oh man, let me go through our list. I'm gonna have people be mad at me. Of all the people currently online in Discord, those were the two. There might be another one, though. Max, do you have people playing the new DH spec? Of course, yeah. I will say that has been really interesting, figuring out who in your roster is going to be, like, covering the new Demon Hunter thing, because I would say most World First guilds don't have two main Demon Hunter DPS. Like, we did for a while with Evade and Shack, but that was just purely because of the players we had available to us. Like, you would take Evade on any role, you would take Shack on any role, and they both happen to be DH mains. But they often, one of them played something else. Because you usually only need one Havoc. Historically, one Havoc is a lock, but, like, two Havoc is very rare, but it happens. So, like, we've been trying to figure out, like, who would be your second DH in a scenario where you need two DHs in your raid. Or a third or whatever, right? But now, they used to be melee, but now you need someone who has the ability to play melee and ranged, which that is, like, maybe the only thing rarer than finding a good, like, healer is finding a good DPS player that could unironically, that's not the right, that could legitimately play ranged and melee in World First progression. Not like plays ranged and then like can do melee and keys. I'm talking like they could do Dimensius week 1 or week 2 on a melee and a ranged. That's like there's a handful of players like that in probably either of Liquid or Echo. They're very, very rare that can do that. So like that's kind of what you need for that's kind of what you need for a DH now, right? Because like one is a distinctly melee class and the other one is, I mean, it's like technically half melee, half range, but it's not. It's just like a range class that like charges in every now and then. I mean, you could say the same thing about Hunter, but like that's not true of Hunter. Like Hunter players are ranged. Like, that's just what it is. Like, at this level, when you play survival, you'd actually rather have like a melee off-spec survival than usually your main hunters play survival. Because it's just different. Sounds like an impact type shaman DPS flexor is best for it. Yeah, I guess. I guess saying, oh, you need a certain kind of player to do something, and then you say like an impact type player, and pretty much no matter what you're saying, the answer would be like, yeah, I mean, it would be fucking sick if you could just clone impact, right? But that's not, you can't do that. That would be fucking hype though. You should do that. That guy is insane. What do you think about the Race World first event now that we know the raid schedule? It's just a regular, normal-ass raid. It's if you should, there's no more illusions about the race. I know there was a lot of conversation about that in the last couple months where we didn't really know how it was going to play out. I think we might actually, if I still have my notepad open here, I think I have an example of what it could have been. Okay, so here were like the main theories, right? So it ended up being option 1, which is this, right? So when season 1 starts, there's a heroic week, and then there is a mythic week, and then the third week, the like entire other raid comes out. This is what it got chosen to be. This is what it is. The reason why there was a lot of controversy is it could have been option 3 or 4 based on their wording. And these would have been no event and also maybe the death of the Race World first. Because we would have killed this in week 2, and then week 3 would have been all mythic splits in preparation. In fact, you might not have, if, like, here's another question. Like, do you care about the end boss only, which is this? Or do you care about, if they're so separated, do you care about winning this? Because if you don't care about winning this, the correct decision to win this is actually probably not even progressing this, but doing splits for this entire week and then splits for this entire week. 2 full week of mythic splits, no progression. And then this. Like, that would be, both option 3 and 4 would have been that, which is like really shit. But it ended up being option 1 and 2, which is realistically, okay, we have a heroic week and then we have mythic week, but this mythic week contains the second to last boss as the end boss. In the first raid of this past expansion, we had a heroic week. And then week 2, we barely killed Silken Court within the first reset. Which means that if Ansurek was just released in a second raid that came out the second mythic week, nothing would have changed because we could not have even pulled Ansurek until that day anyway. Right? So in all if this just goes like a normal WoW raid, which I know there's a lot of conversation about add-ons and UI and all that stuff, I would just, if I was a betting man, I would just bet a lot of money that this raid is just the most average WoW raid experience you've experienced for the past 10 years. It's just going to be a WoW raid. It's not going to be with a bunch of puzzles. It's not going to be super easy or super hard. I think it's just going to be a fucking WoW raid, especially with a heroic week, because that gives them an infinite more information to tune this stuff correctly. Yeah, I think this is just going to play out like a normal raid, except starting on week 2, we're going to have to kill a boss and then an end boss. But that's like basically when we're starting the end bosses these days anyway. So so 6 boss raid. The last 2 bosses won't be true end bosses and would rather be shit like soul hunters. Soul hunters specifically. That's so interesting. No, I mean the last two bosses in that raid, the second to last boss in that raid is like definitely not a second to last boss, and the last boss is like kind of like the second to last boss. Crown of the Cosmos or whatever will probably be like Muggsy or Silken Court, right? By the way, I have a crazy thing for you guys to check out though. I got something crazy for you. Hit this fucking link right here. Oh no, it doesn't have light mode. That is extremely tragic. That's the link though. Guys, Alienware all the way up until December has or December 21st. You can get crazy deals, bro. Up to $600 off gaming deals. If you're ever gonna rip that, it's so bright. I know it's so bright. I'm sorry. But especially with rising RAM prices, I don't know if this is exactly the case here, but I know a lot of pre-built stuff that was filled with old supply is like a cheaper computer that you can get dealing with RAM. Actually, I wonder when I wonder if anyone knows more about that RAM thing than me, like if that's coming down anytime soon. Dude, you know what? I'll help you guys out. But only if you guys promise to buy everything. Here you go. How about that? How about that? Guys, check out these prices. They're on sale. You can get crazy amounts of DDR5 RAM. Boo, so dark, can't see anything. All right, you want it back then? All right. You got a discount for us? Bro, I'm just spreading awareness. Max, the throne race and mop is in 26 hours. Are you available to watch it? So what, it starts at 3 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow? Yeah, I'll be here for that. I'm actually kind of hyped for that. Low key. Kind of hyped for that. And then I think this Saturday I'm playing Guild Wars 2 with Mighty Teapot. I don't know what kind of setup I need to do for that. Let me ask him. He said, if you get a chance to log in, we can figure it out. Okay, I got to figure out where the fuck I am. Do you think that guy will rip another fuck Blizzard? Oh, dude, I totally forgot about that. What a psycho. Dude, just calling out like the lead dev by name, double fuck you to the camera. That's just an insane reaction, man. That's what I expect from Classic though. I feel like Classic players have this untapped anger within them that if you can tap into it could like power a small country if you could turn it into electricity. I don't know where it comes from, bro, but they just have this they just have the ability to get more mad than anyone else. I don't really know how it happened, but it's there. Think about the tone of the WoW community when they were first calling for Classic. Dude, you know, Dorky actually had a really good point. Actually, the way I'm saying this makes it sound like Dorky never has good points, but Dorky did have a very good point the other day. He said, because we were talking about BFA, how like BFA was some of the most fun time to play this game, but then we watched that Haruma Red video, and Haruma Red said that like the corruption patch, like the 8.3 patch of BFA was the second worst patch in WoW's history. And then we're all just sitting here like, dude, like that is like an all-time great WoW patch. Like if you were to poll people who've played in the last like 8 to 10 years of their favorite times to play WoW, the two answers by there's three answers by a pretty large margin. It is Legion just kind of generally. There is BFA Season 4, and there is Shadowlands Season 1. Those are the three things. I believe Shadowlands Season 1 was largely carried by like Castle Nathria and the fact that it was COVID and just kind of everyone was playing, because there were a lot of flaws with that. There are flaws with all of those things, though, but those are the three things you get. But then a lot of people hate BFA Season 4. And then Dorky had an interesting theory. We had a couple other theories. It was like, okay, if you just played for the first few weeks, didn't get the corruption you wanted, and quit, you're like, this fucking sucks, which makes sense. But for people who like played that whole patch, it was just so fun to actually play. The gameplay was just so fun, right? So I guess gameplay focused people probably had a really good time. Okay. Dorky's theory is, because Classic came out in BFA, it was like the height of retail WoW negativity, because all these people were coming back for Classic, and they were like, yeah, here's this expansion that perfectly encapsulates why I fucking hate what happened to WoW. I'm going back to when WoW was great. And then BFA just happened to be the expansion that was out when Classic was getting released. And that was going to happen to maybe any retail expansion where Classic was there, because it was just the thing to compare Classic to. And that kind of made a lot of sense to me. I could absolutely see that being a thing. But personally, I thought it started... I think the reason BFA is thought of as a bad expansion is the first few weeks, you were leaving Legion, you lost tier sets, you lost your legendaries, you lost your legendary weapon powers, you lost the Crucible system, and I think there was like one more major thing. You lost all of these things that made your character feel amazing, and then it got replaced with like Season 1 non-tradable Azerite armor, which was... It took a long time to become even kind of good, like years. And that just like felt... You just went from feeling great to feeling terrible. So that was like maybe the most extreme like borrowed power expansion issue, where, you know, like when the new expansion comes out, you just feel worse because you've been scaling the whole expansion, then it just ends, right? You start again. But I think that's pretty much it. What else was weird in BFA besides Classic coming out? I guess some people didn't like some of the Essence grinds and stuff, but also people like low-key love that shit. Max, if it makes any value to this conversation, I started with Classic during BFA, and after 3 years when I tried Dragonflight, I never went back. So, this has kind of been my theory all along, and it used to be a hot take, but now I think this is just true. But even as popular as Classic ever was, I always felt like Classic, you were the primary case of what Blizzard wants to happen. They basically knew that all these like old WoW guilds were sitting in like Discords that have been created in the past couple years at this point, and they were just waiting to play a game together again, and like the launch of Classic was just going to bring so many people back to WoW, and then they would basically just use Classic as a way to advertise retail WoW to people. And I think Classic kind of created its own thing, which is really good, but I always think that Blizzard's intention was using it as an advertising tool. Like, I think what happened to you is what they wish happened to everyone, right? They get you to come back with the old shit and then get you onto that new shit. It just depends on where your friends are. Yeah, so true. Like, we've been playing a lot of Battlefield 6 Red Sec, the Battle Royale, like almost every day. Me, Zyro, Dryny, Lip, sometimes Chun, Lobes Jones. And then we saw like some complaints on Twitter about RedSec, and it was that there are no solos. And for me, dude, someone who loves a battle royale, I love battle royale games. I mean, there have been years of my life where I've played them like 8 to 10 hours a day, like every day. Love a battle royale game. Playing solo battle royale is like is psycho shit. It's insane. Like it's insane to me that someone would do that on purpose. But it's just a thing. Some people like, for me, gaming is all about playing with friends. It's just, that is just it. You know? So this is my entire theory as to why Season 1 Shadowlands was so popular, even though it was the only time in that expansion when all of the things that people complained about were there. Conduit energy, unswappable covenants. That all changed later. But the one time where they were all in the game is when everyone is like, yo, that's the part of Shadowlands I remember fondly. And it's just because every one of your friends was playing. It's that simple. Max, no one experienced the friction of swapping covenants until the beginning of Season 2 when Biss Covenant changed. That's not true. Hunters were, like, playing around with Kyrian and Night Fae. Moonkins were playing around with Kyrian and Night Fae. Shadow Priest changed from Night Fae to Necrolord mid-patch and then went back. If you wanted to PvE and PvP at the same time, you had to swap different covenants depending on your spec. And that was also, I think, maybe the last season in WoW's history where a PvEer actually wanted to PvP for power. So you actually did have people PvPing all the time. I've always said that Nathri is obviously goated, but Sanctum as a raid forgets systems was cool thematically, but everyone quit, so no one liked it. Yeah. I started a thematic covenant and then needed to swap once we started content because I didn't look into it and it was painful. I mean, yeah, I was helping guilds back then too, and there was an affliction lock that was Venthyr. And like, I think Venthyr Affliction just like shot a giant ball of like energy towards a target, but it was, and I believe this isn't made up, it was a single target DPS loss to ever cast it. Like ever. Like if you cast it ever, you were losing damage. It was a and they were just playing with it because it looked sick, and I was like, yeah, it does kind of look sick. But people just didn't care, you know. Nyalotha, Castle Nathri, and Sanctum are the best back-to-back-to-back raids in history. Ooh. Wait. That kind of has me thinking. Because I don't know if I agree with that, but what are the best 3 raids? Wait, also, aren't those even not even consecutively? Oh, no, they are. Nyalotha, Castle, and Athri are right next to each other. I'm thinking it's like Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar, and then you can either pick Heimal or the first tier of Mop. I'm pretty sure the answer is that. Because, like, Siege of Orgrimmar and Throne of Thunder are both, like, top 5 raids. At least for most people. I think Siege of Orgrimmar used to be top 5. Throne of Thunder is, like, unquestionably a top 5 raid of all time. That will never change. But, like, Siege was borderline top 5, but it got, like, pushed out by Castle Nathria. Might change after what you see tomorrow. Dude, am I the only person whose opinion of old raids doesn't change when people go through them on Classic and one-shot them? I feel like it's just not surprising that happens. It doesn't change anything about what the stuff was when it was out, you know? Legion would be up there if it wasn't for Tomb of Soak Jarrus. Bro, Tomb of Soak Jarrus is a great raid. It's a good one. Are you talking about raid rankings based on the game when they came out or relative to now? Because mop raids don't really hold up to these days at all. It has to be when they came out. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing, you know? Like, if you actually... That's like comparing athletes from today to, like, athletes in the 60s. Like, they're... Like, the training and everything, like, people are infinitely more athletic. It's just... It would be completely absurd to rank them 1v1 or, like, what would happen if you sent someone from today back in the 50s and... Like, yeah, they dominate. What do you mean? They're just faster and stronger and quicker. They're just better, right? Like, gaming is the same way. Like, how much better teams are now than they were in MoP is insane. Even within, like, a couple expansions, how much better we are now is crazy. So it's just about how they were when they were there. Because they were also, like, Blizzard is designing raids for what the community is capable of, right? If people were doing stuff, if people were one-shotting Throne of Thunder back then, they would have increased raid difficulty 10 years ago, right? I haven't played since Shadowlands. Have the raids been since then? I think pretty good. Some stinkers. Some non-stinkers. Well, it's quite relevant in the sense that people are playing them on Classic now. I mean, it isn't, though. You know what I mean? It doesn't... The fact that people are playing them on Classic doesn't matter. Because, like, yeah, I guess you're getting an interesting perspective as to what it would look like if you were to go back and do this stuff with the knowledge. But, like, you're not even going back and... You know what would be really interesting? Seeing people that are as good as people are in 2025 go back and do a raid like Throne of Thunder, but it's like a raid they've never seen before. Like, imagine Throne of Thunder never came out. Ever. But they're releasing it tomorrow for the first time and no one has seen these mechanics before. It wouldn't all get one shot at all. Right? So, like, what are... You're not even... You're not necessarily comparing how hard raids are for 2025 players today versus 2013 or 2012. It's also... You've seen it and can practice it before it comes out. It's a completely different thing. I would all get one shot because Throne of Thunder is level 30 and I'm level 80. What a beast, bro. You're a beast. Is there any old school Paragon World First Racer still in the race these days? Yeah, I think there's one. It's Echo player. Plays an Evoker. Frago? Something like that. Yeah. I forget how he... Yeah. What was that guild back in BFA? Wildstar or some shit? Guild? The one guy who raged all the time. Oh, Wild Card? Oh, that's just TM Sean Guild. Yeah, a lot of people that have gone through Liquid at some point have been in ATM Sean Guild, including myself. Long time ago. Max, sorry to repeat the question, but are you and Dratnos going to do a boss ranking for this raid? Maybe. Dratnos has been traveling a lot. And also I haven't been doing a ton of content, but I am streaming more Starting like now, like a couple days ago. I mean, I streamed 2 days ago. I'm already streaming again. What is this, bro? What kind of life are we living right now? I'm also streaming tomorrow and Saturday. Whew, boys. What are we doing right now? We are just streaming. Are you logging into PoE 2? Oh, PoE 2's coming out? Well, obviously new season. Low key might really liked previous PoE 2 season. Wait, there's a new D4 season? Oh, I'm going to do that instead. When is that coming out? Wait, when's the new D4 season? Wait. They're literally coming out at the same time. Oh, man, that's... Sorry, PoE. Unfortunate, big guy. You went up against the wrong game. Alright, what are the new... What's the new shit? What kind of sork we got? Crackling Energy? Never will play Evade Spiritborn a season. So boring. Night Druid's too slow. A lot of Barbs got buffed. Wow. What does this play? Max, the D4 season mechanic isn't out on release. Huh? What? What do you... Sorry, what do you mean by that? What could you mean by that? Season 11 Theme and Sanctification. Yeah, cool, okay. But this is out on release, right? It's just the tower that's delayed? Yeah, okay. I misunderstood what you were saying. This is the seasonal thing. You're saying there's some content in the season that isn't being released right away. That's what... I hate that Diablo does that, but that's like totally different than the season mechanic not being there. Is the new D4X back? I don't know. Dude, I think it's D4 time, though. Dude, that's actually extremely hype. Except I have some sponsored streams to do this weekend for a different game. Which is maybe going to get delayed now, because... I mean, I don't want to... If I'm doing a Diablo season, I want to do that. Max, have you watched the Fellowship video from last night? No. What a Fellowship video? What is that? Fellowship dev update. Holiday event and big changes. The only thing I care about is the new season. I'm done with Fellowship this season. You know what's kind of interesting? How everyone stopped playing Fellowship at the same time. Like, usually when you play an ARPG, you're going to, like, grind it and then you're going to quit. That's just the thing. And then you play it again when it comes out again. But, like, usually people fall off in, like, different tiers. I feel like Fellowship, it was just immediate. Like, everyone I knew that was playing Fellowship every day all stopped at the exact same time. Why do people stop? I mean, it's just an ARPG. That's what happens. An ARPG, you like degenerately grind power until it slows down too much, and then you stop. It's just an ARPG. Max, did you watch Kyrasis' video about WoW tank theory crafting? No. What was that all about? Tank theory crafting, a short history. What is this? Historical tank theory crafting is scattered in strange places and hard to track down. Wait, what is this? You said he made it the other day, bro. This is 5 months ago. I mean, here's realistically what I'm going to do with Fellowship, okay? I'm going to pay attention to 0 changes being done actively to the game until the new season comes out. And then I'm going to play this game all day, every day for 2 weeks. And I'm going to find out all the things they changed in the meantime live. And it's going to all be updates that were applied to the new season, even though that's not true. That's me. That's how I'm going to deal with it. Wasn't Kyrasis disowned by the Blood DK Discord because their theory crafting was just wrong? I know nothing about that situation, but I choose to fully believe it because I have had... Me and Ben both had run-ins with, like, tank theory crafters back when we were tanking for the race for many years, and every single time it was the most ridiculous arguments being made, and I would fully not trust anyone in a tank theory crafting role for any reason. I don't know if it's still the same guys, though. So I apologize if I'm slandering people who are doing the right thing. But I know tanking is a role that is typically hard to theory craft. I think it takes a lot more practical experience in general. And I know that the space used to be littered with people that didn't have that practical experience and were just, like... Not, it's fine if you have opinions, right? Like... My issue is if you don't play at a high level, but you have, like, opinions about how stuff should work, that's, like, totally chill. I would never bother me. The issue is those people, like, they do the, like, tribal thing where they'll be, like, a heroic or normal raider, which, again, perfectly cool. No issue with that. But then they'll, like, see a talent build that someone's using in the highest possible key, like a 30, and it's, like, using a slightly different talent, and then some people will come in the Discord and be like, hey, why is this person running this talent? And it's not constructive conversation. It's just, oh, that guy's bad. Don't listen to him. He's not a part of this group. Like, oh, wait, that player's doing that? You saw a clip from this guy? No, dude, that's just wrong. Like, clearly we have the math here. This is why you don't run this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just clown shit back in the day. But I don't know if that still happens. But I imagine that it's bound to happen in every WoW Discord that exists, basically. Because here's the feedback loop, right? You run a Discord for information, and people constantly come in and asking you for information. That's why the whole pins thing exists, and that's why they get mad at people who don't check the pins, because they're literally tired of answering the same questions. Makes sense. They're there to support a community. What they're doing at the heart of what they're doing is a good thing. But then, if you're not part of the group, bro, and you're like a streamer for that class, and someone just clips you without even your knowledge, like literally someone comes in and asks you a question and you just answer them for the best of your knowledge, right? Like, this is what I think you should do. If it gets linked in that Discord, if you're someone who actively contributes to that Discord, even just being in there and just at least sometimes talking, the reaction will be totally fucking different than if you're not in there at all. If you're not in there at all, they resent every time someone posts a clip of you because you are now the source of information and not them, and they are personally offended by that. I've seen this happen a lot. But if you're in there and you're part of the group, then it's like your knowledge and wisdom is accepted because you're just part of the group, you know? So, like, basically, best advice for any content creator is... if you are a content creator for a specific spec or class, just suck it up and get in that Discord. And just like have a little alarm on your phone. Like every day at 3 p.m., just like type one thing. And your life will be so much easier because you just won't have to deal with like ego lord Discord mods. And it's just that every person this has happened to, it's always the same story. The smart ones are just in there. Or if you truly don't care what these little rats are saying about you in a private channel of a Discord, and you can take all that slander, people constantly slandering you, then just don't worry about it. But like if that's gonna bother you at all, just fucking talk to him, man. Max, do you have some tips for a 4-man group applying for a new cutting edge raid? It's kind of rough as a group. Oh, you guys are trying to package deal apply to a guild? I have no tips for that. I have no experience doing that myself. Or actually, that's not true. Whenever we left Duality as a group of like 5 people, we formed Limit, which became this guild, with a bunch of other guilds that did that with 5 players or so, like 5 or 6 guilds. But like getting straight up recruited to another guild as a package deal is like really hard to do because typically all 4 people aren't the same skill level. Typically, if you're applying as a group, there's like a couple people who are good and a couple people aren't. Then you're leveraging the fact that you're getting some good players to get some bad ones. And it's usually always a nightmare for guilds because if you upset any of them, they're all going to leave. And at any point, losing 1 player in your roster is probably able to be dealt with, but losing 4 like fucking sucks. So like low key, if you all want to play together, you're better off joining a more casual guild that will allow you or making your own guild. I'm assuming that. Again, I'm trying to give you advice when I'm just kind of making it up here, but I don't think it's very easy to like get accepted in that scenario. Max, so you are saying the player who plays this game as a tank in high end are more suitable for theory crafting, or their comments will be more accurate? So I guess there's 2 ways to answer your question. To answer your question generally, if you're getting tank advice from someone who's doing plus 30s versus someone who does heroic raids only and just does math for tanks, 100%, I would absolutely trust the opinion of the person doing plus 30s over that person every single day of the week, without question, yes. However, my issue isn't that. Whenever you talk to someone that actually knows what they're talking about as a theory crafter and you come up with an interesting or maybe differing take, the response is always, oh, that's interesting. Let me think about that. Or I've actually had that same thought before and I tested it out and tried these things and here's why I don't think that's true. But it's never getting offended. Getting offended when someone brings up counter logic to what you're saying is like some straight up bitch shit. That's like you care so much about being right that you don't really care about finding the best thing. You just have to be right. And those people are just insufferable and horrendous to be around in the first place. That's the vibe that people hate. Not that someone couldn't be accurate or could be wrong. It's the issue is what often happens in that scenario is like the player with a lot of high practical experience is, in my experience, never has the response of like, no, that's not wrong. Like, don't listen to that person. No. It's always like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't been doing that. I've been trying something else. Maybe I'll try that at some point, but I don't think it'll be good. That's a totally different response than someone who's like extremely upset that they're not the person who's considered to be right. The problem with tank theory crafting is that they rely heavily on perfect play, which will literally never happen, such as not running cheat death. Yeah, I mean, where all this started is Ben and I were playing cheat death trinkets and Nighthold. We were world 5th. We weren't going for world 1st at that time. And yeah, we just Ben and I saw screenshots of, I believe, specifically the Blood Decay Discord saying both of us were bad, and the reason was because we were running cheat death trinkets. Someone asked, why are these guys running cheat death trinkets? And the response was, well, because both of them aren't very good. It's like, okay. Like, they've never played with us at all, by the way. They've literally no idea. Private logs. We didn't even stream at the time. Just completely fucking making it up. And it's just like, okay. That's the people. Those are the people who are in these Discords. As if mistakes don't happen and you'd rather not waste an entire pull, which can be prevented by wearing a goddamn trinket. Dude, wearing a cheat death trinket and having one tank wipe per night, even one, where you lose a death and it cascades into a wipe or something because you're not running a cheat death trinket, that happening one time outweighs you doing more damage as a tank with a second trinket. And it's not close. It's not even kind of close. It's like Parse Lord. It's just idiots, man. It's people that don't understand like risk reward. It doesn't like you just simply do not understand the fundamental concept of risk versus reward if you're running a non-cheat death trinket as a tank in certain tiers, right? Because the reward is almost nothing and the risk is very high. It's just a bad decision. But those people don't think about that. They just think about having a good parse. You just need to kill the boss one time. Who cares about our guild's progression, you know? Which again, that can be your motivation, I guess. Like, I've known plenty of people who've played WoW that didn't really care about the guild success. They just really wanted to play well. I'm like that in hockey. I play hockey every night of the week, and I care way more about how well I played and I made good decisions and what I was working on translated to a game than our team winning every time, right? That's all I care about. I mean, obviously you want to win as a team, but like I really care about that because I really care about self-improvement stuff. So like someone could absolutely be like that in WoW. Like, yeah, we'll kill this boss. I don't care if we get killed a little later, but I want to perform as well as I want to perform on the kill. Like that's my thing. I think that's natural. And I think that's pretty common. I think another reason it bothers me is just because it's so basic. You've seen it happen every other time. Like, if you post in that Discord, if someone says, why is this person running a cheat death trinket? And you're in there and you're just like, I don't know, man. It just seems like it's worth to never have a tank death. And I also play better knowing I have that in my back pocket. And I feel like we have a higher guild success chance. People just be like, all right. But if you're not there, it's your dog shit. You know? The fact that you just don't type is enough for people to... Like, the fact that their answer would change so much if they just heard you speak one time. But they would just immediately... Like, nah, they're fucking ass, bro. Ass. Childish. I argued versus optimal for versus consistent play in the Mistweaver Discord, and a couple of people just couldn't wrap their head around it. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, realistically, we're talking to theory crafters here, right? Like, isn't the thing that theory crafters kind of get their rocks off on is how much you can potentially do by min-maxing something? Like, that's what their job is. Their job is to do that, right? Their job is to find every single possible thing you can do to gain damage. So in a way, it kind of, just by nature of how they are as people, you are going to always lean more towards the optimal versus the consistent, because being consistent doesn't interest them. What made them... People don't become theory crafters out of nowhere, right? They do it because they are obsessed with finding the best possible thing, right? So convincing those people that you could be making a play for consistency versus optimal stuff, doesn't it kind of make sense that they're going to have an aversion to that, or at least still try to biased argue the other way? Also can't really put a number on survivability. Yeah. I mean, WoW is so much... Yeah, there's no player ratings in WoW. There's truly no idea how good someone is until you play with them, and then it's like extremely obvious because it's all put into relative perspective. Why is bro ignoring my question like I asked something bad? Bro, you've asked me like 100 times and I've already answered that earlier this stream. But to answer your question, yes, I'm watching it. If I remember. Max, do you think WoW is going to change anything in Mythic Plus based on Fellowship influence? In the short term, no. In the long term, maybe. I don't think so. Like when I see Fellowship, first of all, love Fellowship, but I see what someone could do if they made Mythic Plus its own game, and specifically they made Mythic Plus an ARPG that can give you loot and rewards and not have to give a fuck about outside world questing, raids, or anything else. And you can see what they do. And I think a lot of those things are things that WoW would also do if they were playing under those same set of rules, which they are not and will never be. And therefore, I don't think a lot of those things actually transfer. Like, a prime example is the interrupt thing. There's something in that game where you can, like, you can mark something as your focus, and then it shows everyone the mob you intend to kick and the cooldown on everyone's kick. If you're a high-level player, it's fucking amazing. All right. People have been like, this is the thing they need to add into WoW. A lot of high-level players have said that. I mean, I agree with that. Like I would love to have that in WoW. That would be amazing for me and the people I play with. But Blizzard I don't think they're ever going to do that. And the reason why is because by putting that into the game, you're saying like, okay, here's how we're going to handle the reduction in stops that people have and the reduction in defensives. And the inability to track kicks anymore with our UI. What we're going to do instead is we're going to require people now, casual players, mind you, to mouse over focus something and then have a focus kick bind and a regular kick bind. I don't think you guys understand how casual WoW players are, but they don't want to do that at all. So Blizzard's choice was, let's make interrupts lock things out for longer. Let's make things have less casts, but just happen regardless, so you don't have to worry about kicks, because that's something that is well more tailored to the casual audience of WoW versus the more PoE-like audience of Fellowship, the more high Mythic Plus type player base of Fellowship. You're solving the same problem in two different ways, and one of them involves something that WoW players who've played this game for a long time are never going to want to actually do, and then if you implement that into WoW, and those players never use it, or don't want to because it's like coggy load, you can't use it as a reason to still have a lot of casts and dungeons. You have to solve the problem a different way, right? Max, do you think making every key Resil would be good for retail Mythic Plus? I haven't done Mythic Plus this season or last season, so I basically have no opinion. I actually do not know how resilient keys affect the community other than I know it removes having to do a certain amount of homework keys, but it also influences like a lot of people like selling Resil and like selling title really easily. But again, that's something that affects a very small group of players. My gut feeling would be if anything Resil's, everything should Resil. But I'm not confident enough having actually played it to see the downsides and upsides to like confidently say either way. I don't really know. Would be better if keys depleted when all group members don't have at least the same Resil level. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't really care either, to be honest with you. It's not something I really interact with. Dude, I'm so hyped there's a D4 season soon. I'm fucking on, bro. I'm in there. In there like swimwear. I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure I think the D4X pack is announced tomorrow. Okay. What are you going to play? I mean, I usually always play Sork, but... I mean, according to this, it's basically Crackling Energy Sork, which is... I'm assuming starter gear. What do you play? Yeah, you're still like Hydra Familiar. Just Ball Lightning, and then eventually you're just... Why is the survivability moderate? Oh, it doesn't have like Flame Shield. Interesting. Like, what's new? Is this playing any new aspects? None of this is new. No. Wait. Oh. That's new. At least I haven't used it before. That's fun. Crackling Energy Neck. Okay, and then you play Starless Skies, Shroud of False Death. It's a late start to the season tomorrow. It's after Game Awards. Wait, this comes out tomorrow night or Friday? Tomorrow night? Oh shit, maybe I'll skip my hockey game. 8:30 p.m. Pacific. Oh dude, we might be gaming all day tomorrow. Can we co-stream the Game Awards? Is that allowed? Game Awards co-stream. Can I co-stream the show? Yes, and we encourage... Sign up here as an official co-streamer. All right, let me do that. People are saying they will announce Pally at the Game Awards, and then Pally will be available in this new season via pre-order. Oh, dude, that's going to be fucking hype. Just be careful for a lot of DMCA shit with YouTube. I'll just not stream on YouTube tomorrow. Nah, look at people in my YouTube chat. Shout out YouTube. Any first name, last names in there? No, not really. Okay, well, I mean, if Paladin's coming out, I feel like we're just playing Paladin. But I guess we'll find out more tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we stream the Throne of Thunder thing. We watch the Game Awards. We play D4. All right, so we're just streaming for fucking 12 hours tomorrow. Holy! That's so good! Holy shit. Watch Party Game Awards? Hell yeah. I'm down. All right. All right, to make room for that, we'll have to end early today, though, guys. That's too much work. That's too much work for 2 days. I have to charge up my power for tomorrow. So, Reptar, let him know. I think it's when I say see ya. All right, GG's, guys. No? Okay, he's not barking. He's just, oh, hi. Hello. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Reptar. Oh, hi. Say hi to them. Yeah. Yeah, look and say hi to the people. Yeah. Hi, buddy. This is not a new record. It's not.